color looks better up here. All right, let's try to do this. Big beads, big beads. I got confidence that they'll be able to see a 12 mil. We'll see. All right, guys, welcome back to another video here down in the lower Niagara this afternoon. Fished 2 other spots this morning and no luck. Went over the bridge, looked down at the river, and it didn't look awful. We're dealing with definitely dirty water. We have about a foot of visibility to deal with, but I feel confident. We're gonna throw some big beads, try to fish some slower drifts, and hopefully let's get a good video for you guys. It's gonna be a lot of tips and tricks, how to fish in dirty water, how to fish in the Niagara River in general, to be honest with you. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get into the action. All right, fish on, fish on. Guys, no way I'm fishing a foot of water, or a foot of color. This is probably gonna be a big steelhead. Oh, it's gonna come up and jump. Guys, the amount of time today that has gone into this. Oh, what is it? Is that a big, that might be a big salmon, guys. That might be a big salmon. It's either a salmon or it's a huge steelhead. It's huge, whatever. Oh my God, I think it's a huge salmon. I think it's a huge salmon. Guys, what the heck? No way, I don't have a net on me or anything. Oh my God. Guys, I'm throwing 12 millimeter beads and I think this thing crushed it. My float just went boom, and it just vanished. I freaking swung. I legitimately thought I was hooked on the bottom because it just didn't move. What do we got here? I think it's a salmon. If it's a hen, it's going home. You know, if it's in the mouth, this would be crazy. This would be crazy. It is, we're in December. I mean, like lake trout season's open and stuff. I was planning on going there. This is, we've tried 2 different creeks this morning, and now I'm down at the river and I'm dealing with about 1.5 feet of this, and I think I got a, this is a big salmon. That's exactly what it is. I've seen it now. As Bill would say, can we keep the no skunk streak alive? I thought I was gonna get it today. I mean, this fish isn't landed by any means, but whew. I mean, I got all the room in the world, which is cool, and I got 12-pound leader on. So I mean, as long as my hook doesn't pull and the knots hold, we should be good. I got no net though, and I'm down here by myself. It's just me. Oh, big salmon. I wonder if it's a female. This is not gonna be easy. Oh, there's eggs. There's eggs. All right, she's going home. Here we go. That might be a little better angle. Check that fish out. That's awesome. It's December. We are 2nd week of December down here in the Niagara River, and got myself a king. That's my first ever bead fish, and she's going home. So, all right, let's go see if we can get some steelhead. I'm sure there's some down there, and hey, maybe another salmon. All right, let's go do it. All right, guys. So, a lot of you that watch YouTube or know a good amount about fishing in general for steelhead and salmon, on the West Coast, this is a very familiar tactic to them, to catch big salmon. Obviously, I wasn't even targeting salmon. I was fishing for steelhead down here. But big beads. This is a 12 mil and it just ate that. Crazy. Steelhead bite these. Lake trout bite them. Never caught a brown on a 12 mil, but hey, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. I know guys that throw all the way up to 16 millimeters, 20 millimeters, 22 millimeters, but I got a bunch of 12s and 16s, and I got 12s on because there should not be salmon in here in December. It's crazy, but man, that thing crushed the float in about 12 feet of water. So I'm hoping that maybe some kings are gonna keep biting, as crazy as that sounds, or right in the same path that that salmon was, there's a whole mess of brown trout. Hey now, can't cast today. There's a whole mess of brown trout and salmon laying behind them. That was awesome, absolutely awesome. And she's got eggs. I mean, you can't ask her much more than that. It's just, that's insane. So fishing pretty far out. Another boat just ran up in here, and I mean, the water is dirt. Like, the water is dirty, don't get me wrong. It is, I mean, it's a foot, but the water is down in here and it's causing it to just go nice and slow. And obviously it gave time for that salmon to see it coming and bite it. So I'm really hoping for, hey, I'll take another salmon in the mouth, and or some nice steelhead, or maybe even some lake trout up in here, or browns, who knows. I mean, there's a little bit of everything up in here. So let's keep fishing. Let's see what we can do. Lower Niagara though, can't beat it. It's a crazy place, absolutely crazy place. All right, guys, so something you want to keep in mind when fishing, you know, dirty water like this. You know, I'm dealing with what I would say is probably about 1.5 feet, maybe even a foot of visibility. I mean, it's not great. And now that the sun's kind of gone away, it looks like it's even gotten darker. But if you hit one on the head, they're still gonna see it. I mean, I must have freaking hit that salmon right on the freaking nose. But hey, it's still bit. So that tells me salmon can see it, steelhead can see it, lake trout can see it. It's just a matter of getting your bait, you know, right here in front of their face, and then they just gotta bite it, right? Something you can do to help your chances out of finding a fish that can actually see your bait, fishing slower water. Down lower, you know, where the lake trout drift is, that's a lot of more boily water, a little more fast. It kind of moves around a lot. Whereas up here, especially on this lower water level, you can see where the rocks, I mean, I'm sitting where the water was, but the water is much, much lower than what it usually is. And, ooh, that would have been something. The water is moving very slow, and so it gives them a lot of time to see it, react, and bite. So just stuff like that to honestly just give yourself as much help as you can get fishing tough conditions. I mean, this is not easy work right here. But hey, that was worth the walk right there. So just something to keep in mind. And then just fishing 12 mils, 16 mils, 14 millimeters. You know, big jigs you can try too. I saw a guy yesterday down here throwing some scent on. He was catching a bunch of fish in the dirty water. You know, just trying different stuff. Really, nothing can go wrong. You might as well beef up your leader. You know, if you got a foot of this, don't run an 8-6 pound leader. I mean, you can do it, but it's a little silly. Why take the chance? So we're gonna keep fishing here. Probably work my way back to the way down, and yeah, just call it a wrap there. But hey, I'll take the one fish. Hopefully we get another. That'd be sweet. So we'll give it some more time here. All right, guys, I've seen the boat hook up a couple times right off this point, and I know the water is a little deeper down there, and a little bit closer to shore is the drift. So I'm gonna grab my stuff, grab this half rotten salmon. It still has eggs in it, and get to walking down here. I'm not looking forward to the walk back up with Mrs. Hen Salmon right here, but that's all right. It's worth it for the eggs, that's for sure. So We're gonna navigate through these rocks, see what we can do. All right, guys, see what we can do here. Water's moving a little quicker, and this is just a high spot right here. But any fish trying to spawn in this area would definitely be through here. So, see what we can do. I've caught a couple fish right here before. Some days they really load up on top of here. So, see what I can do. Maybe work down a little bit. It gets real deep down in there. Yeah, just kind of see what happens. Was not expecting a lot today, guys. This is area number 3 today. We tried 2 different creeks this morning. Nothing on both. Hey, just unlucky. So dropped Dad off at home, and I was like, I still want to go fish. And looked at the color of the river, and I was like, yeah, it's not terrible. Not great, but it's not terrible. And hey, I'd say that was worth it. 1 fish, you know, that makes a tough day worth it. So I can't say I don't want another one though. So let's see what we can do. All right, let's try to do that again. I don't even know if the camera was angled right. It got my phone in a different pocket like a dum-dum. Sitting on the inside seam, fishing close. Fish sit close to the bank on dirty water for the most part. It was right in there, right, honestly, right where they usually sit. This area, it's a point right here, and there's deep water to the left and there's deep water to the right. And when they're ready to spawn, they come up on here and spawn, and you can do pretty good. But you can also do good fishing in front of it and the drop off behind it. I've caught a lot of fish in too that are kind of coming up, and there's always eggs washing over or minnows washing over this hump. It's just a really good ambush spot, and the water is moving pretty slow, so it's worth fishing this on the dirty water. So see if we can get a Mr. Steelhead. I saw one of the local charter captains. They landed a steelhead right here, out much farther, to where I can barely even cast. But if they're gonna catch them out there, I should be able to catch them in here, I would think. So that gave me a little confidence. Nice chrome steelhead too. Just gotta get lucky. I just saw a fish roll on the seam. I've worked my way down a little bit into this trench, and this trench gets deep. I mean, down at the end of this, it gets around 25 feet deep, and I'm kind of just fishing like the slope, you know, down into the bottom of this. And I watched a fish roll right on that seam right there. So there's fish around. Oh, that was a big steelhead right there, just rolled. A lot of times when the water's this dark too, minnow imitations work phenomenal. They're chasing bait. They're taking advantage of the dark water to just lurk around and just crush any minnow that's around. A lot of times, especially up this high in the river. Oh! I might have just gotten bumped. Oh, I missed him. Oh my God. No way. Oh. That would have been sweet. You could see right there. See how the bead is like see how it looks on this one? How it's not smushed into the egg, like it's just pulled right off, like you can just pull it right off, it's just sitting there. And then look at this one. See how the egg is like, or the bead is like driven into the egg right there? That definitely means there was a fish just hanging on right there. I'm gonna slide that bead up just a little bit. That was 100% a bite. No way. That sucks. It popped it, and then I waited, and it just drained it again. Like, oh, it's just nothing you can do. It's tough. Probably need some size 4 hooks to be fishing beads this big. But I don't have any, so we're working with the size 6s. And I haven't had any problems with them, but I also don't fish them that much to kind of get into the errors, you know? So I don't know. I guarantee I'm gonna drift through that same area. So yeah, we're just trying. I mean, probably give it another half hour or so. Fish for about an hour and a half. Fished all the spots that, you know, would be worth it to me. Just gotta wait for the water to clear up here the next couple days. It's, you know, a Sunday afternoon, so gotta wait a week until we can fish them again. So just making the best of it, that's for sure. Guys, big steelhead, big steelhead. Look at that thing go! Yeah! Woo! Oh, please stay buttoned. Please stay buttoned. Yeah, come on. Oh, it's gonna jump right here, isn't it? Guys, 12 mil bead. Look at that steelhead. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Whoo. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Guys, oh my God, look at the sun. The sun just popped out. I guarantee that fish could just see a little better, and bam, there it is. Oh my God, I wish I had my net. Oh, it's gonna jump again, isn't it? Get ready. Get ready. Oh my God. That's crazy. Crazy. That is an acrobat of a fish. I'm scaling on the rocks. Guys, 12 mil. Everybody was like, I'm going home to take a nap, being my dad. And I'm like, you know, if I got a foot to a foot and a half of color, I think I can catch one. And there it is. Big, big Niagara River steelhead. Awesome. The jumps that fish made. Oh my God, I gotta land this fish. Whoo! Guys, the doing that this has taken is just insane, but man, the freaking reward, it's so worth it. So worth it. I know some of you are gonna be like, don't beach them, but I forgot the net. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do my very best to keep this fish just contained. I'm gonna fight it out there, make sure it's good and tired before I bring it up on the rocks. So I know it's not ideal. I'm sorry, guys, but please don't light me up in the comments. Guys, I think it's because that sun peeked out. I really think so. All right, I think this fish is done. Or not. All right, right here. All right, guys. I'm gonna get this fish unhooked here. Grab the handy pliers. She's gonna cooperate for me. Guys, it doesn't get much better than this. Oh yeah, guys, awesome, awesome, awesome fish. About 28 inches. You guys saw those jumps. That was insane. All right, let's get a last release on this fish. How about it? Awesome, awesome fish. She put up a good fight. It's gonna be a second. There she goes. Guys, I was probably acting like an idiot, but let me tell you the work that has gone in today. Tried 2 totally different creeks. One had slush in it, and one just had like no fish in it, you know. Just one of those days, and I was like, there was 10 footers on Lake Erie yesterday, and the water the day before only had about a foot of color to it. And we got into some lake trout down in the usual spot, and we looked up in the upper. We live right by the river, and I was like, we got like 1.5 feet of viz up here. My dad's like, nah, it's brown, it's not worth it. Well, salmon, steelhead, I think that was worth it. I got a terrible walk out of here with this salmon, but man, this is getting to be more and more worth it. So I'm gonna take advantage of the sun being out. I think that's a really big part of it. That fish could just see, all of a sudden it could just see my bait and it bit. So 12 mil, guys, right here. Big gumball. It's squishy. I mean, literally it's soft, right? And there's the peg, there's the size 6 hook. All right, let's go give it a little bit longer, see what we can do. All right, guys, another thing to keep in mind when you're fishing down here in dirty water is you really want to fine tune your depth. It's very important to be within 1 foot of the bottom, if not 5 inches, you know. If you can only see 1 foot and this fish is laying on the bottom, which most of them do, if you're not within 1 foot, it's gonna go right over its head. It's never even gonna see it. So make sure, you know, you really, you give a spot enough time and get your stuff as close to the bottom as you can, you know. Even kind of tumbling over the bottom is fine. As long as it's drifting along. You know, but on a clearer day, those fish might come up 1 foot, even 2 feet, especially like for a jig or something. They'll come flying up off the bottom and you know, crush your stuff. But when the water's dark like this, they're just not gonna do it. They're literally not gonna see it. It's gonna go right by, and you know, you're never even gonna have a chance. Ooh, that's a bad tangle. So you know, make a couple drifts. If you're not hitting the bottom, you know, it just takes time down here, guys. I mean, there's some runs, you know, that are 12 feet deep, or some runs that are 5 feet deep. And one of the crazy parts with up here is the water level changes. The spot that I was fishing just here a few minutes ago, that's usually about 12 to 14 feet deep, and the seam is still right where it usually is, but it was about 5 feet deep. And you can see, you know, behind me where the water line was earlier this morning at some point. It's dropped about 4 feet this morning, and that's just from the power plants drawing water out of the upper river and dropping it behind me at the power plant. So that's another thing that just, you know, makes it really tough, right? You think you learned a spot, you crushed them one day, you're like, oh, it's 12 feet deep. Well, not in the river. You might get there and, you know, today it's 10 feet. I don't know. You know, it's a totally different depth, right? So just stuff to keep in mind, really, guys. That's all it is. So, don't know if I'm going to be lucky today. Definitely had one good bite, but it's kind of getting overcast now, so my bite window might have kind of disappeared. All right, guys. Woo! Did it. That was so worth the wait and the effort. What a crazy day. So guys, I'm gonna explain to you, hopefully the sun isn't too bad, but I'm gonna explain to you what's going on here. So the sun just popped out, and I find it hard to believe that I fished this for a half hour, and 3 drifts into the sun being out, I get bit. I think there's definitely something to that. I don't know. I think they can just see all of a sudden. You know, the water's got a little more clarity to it, if you will. But that fish was sitting in about 12 feet of water in a seam that has really always produced for me. It always had some fish in it, and I've seen a handful of fish rise in it and just fishing the edge of it. You can see, you know, right here at my feet and out in there a little bit, there's the edge, and I'm just out past there about another 10 feet. And it creates a great funnel. It's only about 30 feet wide, and fish just stack up in it. And I was watching fish surface on this edge, in the middle, and on the far edge, and that's why I honestly came down here. I was like, I gotta give it a shot where these fish are rising. So, whew, that was fun. That fish put up a fight too. It didn't make any crazy runs, but man, those jumps are terrifying. I mean, that fish was completely airborne. I love it. I absolutely freaking love it. And there's nobody around. Nobody around. You guys, there's a lot of hate that we get for doing these videos. Everybody's like, oh, you're burning spots. You're burning spots. Where is everybody? No one thought about this spot today. So, hey, there's still some untouched ones. You just gotta be willing to go put in the work. So, all right, let's see if we can get another one, I guess. I'm gonna give it another 20 minutes. I was honestly wrapping it up when that sun popped out. I was like, oh man, I gotta keep trying a little bit. But the wind's starting to really rip down the river, which is getting a little tough. But we'll give it a little longer here, see what we can do, get this tangle out, and yeah, all right, let's get back to it. All right, guys, so I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of the setup. Got my 13.5 foot Sheffield rod here. It puts a whooping on these big fish in the Niagara. You know, I just landed a salmon and a real nice steelhead. So got 17-pound main line. I use Suffix. It's not too bad with the abrasion. I really don't have any problems with it. It doesn't coil up too bad in the cold. That's my all-around line. 595 Coville, great reel. Need it for the river for sure, to help you get some line in. Then down to the business end, got a slip float here. You can see it slides on the line. 3/4 ounce Sheffield float. Code Willsworld, 10% off. Discount code at buffalotackle.com. Grab the rod, grab the floats, 10% off. There you go. You also got Riverside rods, Challenger jigs, Challenger crankbaits. And yeah, so go check them out. Since we got dirty water today, I wasn't messing around. 12-pound leader, 2 size 3 split shot, size 12mm red bead. That's what caught that salmon. That's the usual color they bite. You know, skein and stuff like that, just pink and red and just crazy colors. Size 6 hook, about say 1.5 foot, 10-pound leader, down to what caught that steelhead today, size 12mm peach bead, down to another size 6 hook. Hey, I can't complain with today. You know, we fished about a foot of water. Most guys would go home, and I said, screw it, I'm gonna go see if I can catch one, and it worked out great. 45 degrees, how can you not go fish, right? So I got a couple days off this week. Maybe try to get down here if the water allows. Hopefully it clears up a little bit. Obviously this is not ideal conditions, but hey, we made the best of it. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're out here trying our butts off to get you guys some good videos. Today wasn't a banger, but today was more about tough conditions, not a lot of fish, and really just trying to put in the work, right? That's what it takes some days. You really got to try hard, try a lot of different spots, a lot of different gear. Some days you get lucky, some days you don't. Today we got lucky. So all right, we'll catch you guys in the next video. I appreciate you for tuning into this one, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. See ya.